why don't you tell me a little bit about you and what you do, like what companies you have and how you started and all that shit. How many businesses have you ever created?
My business set is like I don't know, 12 books long right now. Uh, that's I think one of them was with you. I'm all over the place, and
What's
I
your main
just
What's
I
your main one? What's the main one you spend most of your time with?
marketing and advertising and IT services, tech support, Infinite Media Corp.
Sweet. So when you first started, whatever, let's take Infinite Media. When you first started Infinite Media, how many hours a day would you work, and how many days a week would you work?
I was doing 7 days a week and probably 24 minus 6, so like 18 hours a day, give or take.
For how many years until you started? When did you take your first day off? Like we're like, I'm not
Years,
gonna work today.
years. It was like 5 years, 6 years,
Yep. Yeah.
6 years.
Sounds about
It's
right.
you just it's the problem with everybody nowadays is nobody wants to put the time in, and they think that the money's just going to come flowing into them.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Time put in is time put in the
Dude,
beginning is
it's like that last thing I wrote. Success is the result of relentless action over time.
no, time put
Perfect.
in the beginning is directly proportional or directly improportional to the time you spend at the end, but directly proportional to the amount of money you could possibly make. Meaning more time in the beginning gives you larger growth and wealth over life, and less time spent working in the business in the long term.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I started up my main consulting company, Science, in 2008. That's when I was like, a friend of mine at the bar was like, "You should quit. You should just quit your job." I'm like, "And do what?" He's like, "Who cares? Just quit. Stop working for people. Quit your job." And we were drunk. Obviously, it was at 3 of Cups. So I'm like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." So about a day later, I went to work, and about halfway through, I was like, "I'm out." So I went to my boss. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going home. Good luck, guys." "Okay, see you on Monday." I'm like, "No, I'm not coming back." And they're like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to work anymore." Like later, and just dropped my badge on the desk and I left. I went to
That's
Brazil for a while, had a bender. Like 3 months later, after just the binging and the purging, it was January 1st. I'm like, okay, it's time to get my shit together. Like time to hustle with this thing. So then I started working, and I took my first day off. I remember it very distinctly. It was when I went to Hawaii about 4 years ago. Yeah, it was 2016. So 3 years
wow.
ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. Because
Last
I was like, I needed to take a vacation because I was about to have another kid. So I was like, if I don't take time off now, it's not going to happen for a whole nother couple years after that. So I was like, I need to take a trip. So I went to Hawaii for like a week or whatever with my phone off. Like that's real vacation, Because we take vacations all the time because we work for ourselves. So we can just be like, I'm just not going to work today. But what that really means is I'm not going to go into the office and deal with everyone's bullshit all day long and all night long. What that means is, yeah, I'm going to answer some emails back and forth. And of course, when clients call, you're going to pick up the phone and talk to them. And when an emergency happens, you're going to deal with it. But you're not, just sitting there 8 hours a day staring at a cube or something lame. But at that same note, as the longer that shit goes, the more and more you're going to get burnt out where you really have had not one day off in years. But I guess you kind of get used to it. I do.
they're basically like staycations, if you
Yeah.
really want to put it like that. I mean, that's just what you do. And most people, highly successful people, even when they vacation, they still don't vacation. But there is how do you say? There's a they take their exposure down to a minimum where
Yeah.
they're there for an emergency. You're there for an emergency, but everybody's got strict orders. It's basically the way that it works there is that call me if something's on fire or burning down or if somebody's life is in jeopardy. I know that when I go on vacations, I'll generally keep my phone around. I'll check it, every couple of hours, whatnot. I've been on a few cruises where that's just a lot less possible.
Hmm.
But because we run our own businesses and our livelihoods depend on them, and I put contingency plans into place. So when I go on a cruise, I will carry a cell phone with me that no one has the number for except a very specific few people.
I do the
And then
same thing.
therefore when that happens is that the person who's calling you, it's important, and you're going to get that phone call, and that phone call is for a reasonable cause, and it's not even about the money at that point. It's just about the being bothered by just regular people that'll just call you, hey, what are you doing right now, or I got an idea, or this or that. No, you need the time for yourself.
Yeah, I just noticed that this last summer that I was just getting, it was just insane. Like my phone's just blowing up every seems like 5 seconds, and sometimes I go through. It's like, dude, I did like 104 phone calls, and you know what it was is Apple put out that thing that tells you how many notifications you got in a day. Dude, it was off the fucking charts, and I was like, Jesus, I need to, like, this is distracting as fuck. That's why I'm losing my goddamn mind. So I went out and I bought a second phone. All phone, same, completely new phone number. Like 3 people have the number, and then whenever I'm like, just not even like a whole day, I'll be like 6 o'clock, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm done today. I'll turn off my phone. So this way, it's like, I can chill. Relax. I'm not getting notified that like a camera noticed something or some app has some new game I need to download. Even dumb shit. Everything just drives you fucking nuts. So there's no notification on the phone except for phone calls in case it's an emergency.
That that I tell you that Apple did a pretty good job with that particular thing, because when I got that thing, I started hitting clear this notification, clear this notification, don't show me this one, don't
Yeah.
show me this one, don't
Actually,
show me this one.
I wonder what mine's looking at right now. Settings. What's that thing called? Screen time? What the hell's that under?
Yeah, screen time, yeah.
General. I'll just search for it. It's easier. Screen time. Okay. So, I guess it's got to think for a while. As you use your phone, it will be reported here. Oh, okay, there we go. So, it says, I'm an hour and 47 minutes below average today. That's not bad. Where's
That's
the
because
notifications?
you were using your computer more than your phone, I guess.
Yeah, well, I also both my current clients, I called them and told them I'm sick yesterday and today, so it went down a lot. Yeah, dude, yesterday I was brutally sick. It was horrible. So whatever, but I feel better now. Anyway, so what do you tell people that are currently in that grind mode that think it's just like they just want to give up? They're like, they've been working for 2 years straight, no vacation time, they sacrificed everything, their families have disowned them because they don't come to family meals anymore and shit like that. Like, it gets when you're in like that mode where it's fight or die. It's like you don't take off breaks for anything anymore. Like you have no social life. Your friends have disappeared. They think you're a loser. So what do you do to like either push through to get through that, or what would you say to someone that's facing that problem that we all go through?
So that the funniest thing is that's something that I come across often when people want to talk to me, particularly because I've been through it, done it. And what I tell most of those people are pretty simple, is that generally the success is going to happen the day after you fail, meaning, or you try to fail, or you try to quit. So you can look at it a couple of different ways. You can look at it from a standpoint of being pushed that extra day, that extra mile to go because you're just looking to get over that hump that you just can't see the top of. Or you can take it as, if you stop doing something, then you're going to miss out on finishing what you're working on tomorrow. So just don't stop. Just keep going. And when you think that it's all gone and you've got nothing left, that's when you're almost there, when it's almost over. And if you can just muster up the energy for the little bit more time, generally that's the breaking point, and that's where you'll turn into your success. And why most people fail is because they just can't get over that. When they get to that point where they're desperate, they give up. And truth of the matter is that that's what drove me even further, because if you look at people and who fail, when they hit that point and they fail, I can see that, I can understand that, and I look at it and I'm like, okay, then success must be not too far away. It must be pretty close.
Yeah, I always have a. I'm very negatively reinforced. What do you want? You want what? Licorice? Go to bed. Go to bed. This is what I've been dealing with all day. You want ladybug? Okay, go lay down. I'll put on ladybug. So I have no idea where we left off, so it doesn't really matter. But what I was just thinking was, so I just went to take a quick little safety break. And something that a lot of entrepreneurs, and I would say especially in my line of consulting work, consultants especially, because, I would say, wait, I want to remind me to go back into this part, but entrepreneurs generally hang out and are friends with other entrepreneurs. Like that tends to be your new clique. Once you become an entrepreneur, that's who you kind of surround yourself with, that same people, the same energy. So I don't know. It's not like, I don't think it's a direct, like something you're doing on purpose, but it definitely happens. Would you agree?
Um, yeah, I believe that you tend to spend time with people who are going to lift you up,
Yeah.
who in this world is generally entrepreneurial people.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, you can't be negative attitude and start a company. That will never work.
no, no, no. I mean, truly, I believe it. I believe anybody can do it, but it does take a special type of person in specific businesses, uh, because of the pure fact that of what it actually takes to get from A to
Yeah.
Z, which
Yeah,
is a
it's
lot
like,
of gas.
yeah, it's like when people tell, dude, I got a great idea. I'll split it with you. You do it, and I'll give you the idea. I'll split it with you 50-50. It's like, the fuck are you talking about? Your idea is worth shit. I can care less about what if you want to tell me, that's cool. But like, if I'm doing the work, that's the work. That's the hard part.
He when you know so the you know uh, my one business is the web development,
Mhm.
and I couldn't count on two hands and 2 feet the amount of people that have come to me and said, not sneezing, but come to me and said, "Yeah, I got this great idea, so I can't afford to do it, but you can be a partner of mine." And if I was that case, I'd have a lot of partners and be a lot of broke.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking, it's so, that's why when people come to me like, dude, I got a great idea for a new business. And it could be an awesome idea through and through. The whole thing sounds like, dude, that's a really great idea. And it's like, sweet. And they're like, or I come up with it on my own, either way. But either way, as soon as it's like, you have that one moment where, are you going to pull the trigger or not pull the trigger? And it's not like a long process. It's an immediate click in your brain where all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to do this. But it's after a lot of thought. But the thing is, it doesn't take us long, which I think a lot of us is why we're called serial entrepreneurs, because after we do it the first time, and especially the first 2 or 3 times, you got this shit down to a process. Like I just registered a new company today, like new Nevada S Corp, and it cost me $1,000. I don't even know how many times I've done that. But it's like that's one thing where most people have to learn how to figure out what to do, which corporation to incorporate, depending on which ones they're going to do, like LLCs, C corp, S corp. That's something maybe we can talk about later too. But this is actually my first S corp, so it's going to be interesting. But anyway, but we've done it before, so therefore, once we know it's like, hey, this is a cool business idea. Do I want to do it? If I say yes, I was like, I already know it's going to take this much work to get it set up. It's going to take probably this much work to get it just in the build out phase, and how much marketing it's going to take, and how much money it's going to take, and how much learning or education to the public it's going to take, or what, it's, you know exactly how long this thing's going to take and probably how much money it's going to take. And then what I always do is I times 3. I'm like, oh, it'll take 20 grand and maybe 3 months. It's going to take a year and it's going to cost 100 grand. It's like it's because it's always that little shit that adds up that you never think about. And people,
I
oh God.
furthering your last statements, and I believe people like you and myself, this is where I guess we separate ourselves, and maybe this is the serial entrepreneurship, is that we'll take $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 and throw that shit against the wall and see if it sticks. And
Yeah.
if you lose money, you lose money. If you make money, you make money. If you break even, you break even. But the point is no one
I
ever
hope I
did.
never break even, because break even is worse than a loss to me.
I agree. I agree with you because that's like a kick in the face. Like a lot of work. You take a
Yep.
loss, you get your lumps. You
Yeah, it's like,
win, you
okay,
win.
that one didn't work, but the other one, it's like it almost worked. It's like, fuck. It's like, because then you're in that stupid limbo state. Like, should I keep going, or should I just say fuck it and pull the plug? And I think that's even harder than a failing business, is to pull a plug on one that's doing okay but not really. Like,
So, and I completely agree with you there. But that's why we got five things going at one time.
oh, of course.
Whereas you can it's a very hard to explain. I have a bunch of people that I know, or not a bunch of people, but a few people that I know that are in my boat, or like no, I can see that they're good workers. They know what they want to do. They know what they're doing,
Hmm.
and they want to be around, or they want my help, or whatever. And as friends, I don't mind helping, giving advice or whatnot.
Yeah.
But they just uh, they just they can't understand how my process or my method is. I'm slow and steady. I will throw a lot of things out there, but the thing is that I can realize where the money's coming in. I have to provide for a family as well as yourself. So you're going to nurture where the money's coming in right now. I'm not saying that you're going to forget about the other things, but
Yeah.
you can't also be helping everybody else in the world or nurturing everybody else's business while you're needing to put food in your
Yeah.
family's
Some
mouths.
just go on sustain while you figure some other shit out.
And if you find somebody to do the work, great. And if not, then you let it hang out for a little while. And if it dies, hey, look, it had to die because I needed to make money. And if you get back to it, you get back to it. I mean, I look, me and you have a project or two, three projects that we probably have sitting
Dude.
for 5, 10 years now.
Yep. Yeah. That happens way too many times. And then the problem is, you'll call me up one day like, dude, what about reenacting bodymind.org? What about our crypto tool? And I'm like, fuck, yeah. And then, dude, like, I already spun up like my crypto server. I've already spun it back up. I started looking at the code, trying to get it running on my laptop so I can try to rework it again. And I'm like, because I'm like, dude, the thing's still great. 3 years later, the thing is still would be pertinent to get out right now. So it's like I
Abs-
keep sitting right back on it. But
and the funny part is that we've spent money on it, no matter which way you slice it.
oh yeah,
Sweat
my time is
equity,
money.
dollars, servers,
Hmm.
whatever the case is, and there's, maybe a couple of grand invested into something that is probably worth nothing, right now. It
Ooh,
could be worth something
and
in the future.
if I know only 3 people are going to watch this, but if one of them is ever into an operating agreement, and in there it decides ownership or it decides voting power or anything like that based on um, the capital input versus the shares owned, make sure that you translate your sweat equity into actual dollar values and put that in as money entered into the company.
That is
Super important.
correct.
Yeah. I got
That is
fucked
very
big time because of that. Big time. So
because
hopefully it helps somebody else.
the guys with the money, they that's all they care about, and they don't want to care
Yeah.
about your time.
Yep, exactly. So work that out in advance. Um, so, fuck, what were we talking about right before that?
What we've like what we've got into something in dollars and cents that
Oh
we
yeah,
probably have sitting on a shelf right now,
yeah. So like
or 10 of them.
like how easy it is for us to start a company. So like I just said, I just registered this company I just registered. Well, this one is Root Effects. This is the actual formation of the company. So because I have to start doing banking and taxes and shit now, so I got to be a little bit more legit. Um, but so I'm starting out that. I mean, that company has been going since I think August is when I really started doing it. And then dude, in Root Effects. So I started in August. I started in September, and I started the last week of September. So I did October, November, December, 3 months and a week ish, and or let's say it's been 4 months now, and I've pulled in 40, 50, about $65,000 in that 3 months or 4 months. So, and that's the beginning of a business. So that's pretty bummed. So that's one of those times where it's like, ooh, but I know because of the clients that I have and how it's working, it got an immediate takeoff because I secured those clients before I even started the company. So that's a little bit different. But but then again, that's because I've learned from doing this so many times and starting so many companies that for me it's easier to go out and sell the business and get the business before even having the business. And then once I have enough clients saying, "Yeah, I want it," okay, cool. Then I go and start the business. I tell people that when they're making actual physical products and or services and things like that. I had one guy. He wanted to make like a little device. Let's just say I don't want to give all the stuff away because I got an NDA with him. But he's got a little device. It's pretty cool. And it's a prototype. It's going to be like about $5,000, and it's going to take a few months with some CAD and all that kind of shit. But it's it'd be worth it. It's pretty neat. It might work. I don't know. And he's like, yeah. Because he approached me trying to get like money to invest in his little product. But I was just like, I'm like, dude, I think it's cool, but I want it in my hand too. I want to see if this thing really works the way it's supposed to, whatever. And he's like, yeah. So I was like, dude, I don't even understand why you're making a prototype. Why are you spending all this time and money? He's like, well, what are you talking about? Like, you should make like really awesome drawings of it and a nice flyer and hand it out to people and be like, hey, do you want one? Will this interest you? Ask around people, or make a website, list that thing as for sale, and then put it, just call it a different name or whatever, and then try to sell it. See if you get any orders. If you get orders, shit, it's legit. People want it. And if you don't get any orders, and people are like, that's fucking stupid, or I don't understand, maybe you might want to revisit that idea as a business. So yeah, so I've started trying to sell the business before I even form the business. But
the good thing with us is that we can get away with that a little bit better than other people, only because we can route business everywhere. That not even that
true.
part of it, but we can route business.
Yeah.
We know the ins and outs, what's kosher, what's not kosher, and pretty much a lot of what we do is all synonymous with everything else that we do. So that's really not going to throw up any red flags or like screw up accounting or whatever. With first time business owners or startups or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. You got to buy a lot more.
Yes, there's a lot. We have so much in terms of inventory, product, and I'm talking about just simple stuff.
You already
like
have
phones,
an office
computers.
space.
You're already paying an electric bill, internet bill, office, the whole.
Yeah, so the more you start, the less your startup cost is.
Correct, and circling back to your first comment, it's the sweat equity is already done with that. So you're basically, you can whip them out. You can turn them over, overnight if you really wanted to, or at least and I know that to start up a new company, we could, by tomorrow we could have the paperwork in, and by next week if we pay for it, it'll be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you form your companies? What state? I do Nevada.
I've done a couple. Well, I've done Nevada with you before. A lot of them are generally here in New York. Only really? Because of accounting purposes. My accountant's here right now, and I don't have another accountant. I never thought to figure that stuff out, and I'm a little different. Whereas I don't know if it makes a difference or not. But long story short is that back when I started doing this, in my first one, everything was here already. I didn't want to learn something new, so the people that I had to help me, they knew this is what they knew, so they did it for me. Yeah, actually, the first one I didn't do. I learned that it was cheaper for me to do it myself after the fact, and it really wasn't hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that too. I think it was inkitnow.com was the website way back when, and I just paid someone $100 and something to just. Then I found out that was just the paperwork, and I added it all up. I was paid wound up $1,500, and I was like, dude, if I just did this myself, I could save a few $100s. So,
I mean, nowadays a corporation, where you spin one up for like $350, $250, something like that, depending on where and what.
Yeah, if you do it all yourself, yeah. Nevada's state registration fees are like $250 or $300 a load, though.
So the only catch with Nevada is that you need to have a registered, or I guess anywhere if you're out of state, you need to have the registered agent. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you were just talking about, I have a registered agent in Nevada. I pay $100 a year, but I can funnel everything through that registered agent because they're my hired registered agent. So every company I spin up, it all goes to the same guy, and they just forward it over. So.
So yeah, I mean that's a little bit of something that you don't realize, but it's really not a big deal. It's not
Yeah.
very expensive for what it's worth. It's probably worth more than what you're paying to have that sitting over there in Nevada.
Yep. Exactly. But it's like another idea. I posted on Instagram a while back, like, oh, I just created another business idea, and then I talked with you a couple days ago when we had the kids out. Was the Xbox in the hotel idea? So I'm like you were saying, it doesn't really, for us, it doesn't matter to drop, a grand or whatever on something stupid just to see if it works. Throw shit against the wall. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, whatever. So like I'm gonna drop a grand, which I think is my estimate setup cost for this thing, and I've kind of pre-sold a hotel already on my idea. So I'll spend $1,000 and see if it works. If it works and I can scale it, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm at $1,000. Who gives a shit? Because the possibility, the returns on that type of a gamble are so much higher if it works than if it doesn't work.
And the good thing about people like us is that you go to dinner with me and the kids, and then I beat your idea up in my
Yeah,
how I do it, and you defend
yeah.
your idea. I
You
get to
you
beat it up.
definitely are the person I go to be the devil's advocate. Like you will think of everything, including alien invasions, as to how I need to prepare my business plan.
I mean, and that's the way I go into everything. With I said before, and not that I even think about 99% of what comes in, but when people come to me, I could have been everybody's partner at this point in my life, and when people come to me, I have to determine, fairly quickly without wasting a lot of energy
Yeah.
in whether it's worth it to spend any money on something. And people like us, it's so often that we have these offers is that
Oh,
you just see them and you're like,
dude.
no,
Yeah.
no, no,
Exactly.
no,
It's like
no.
muscle memory.
It's and in my world doing web development, I see so many people come in, people who want to, who pay me, to do their work for them. And I can look at it and I would never say this to people, not because I'm trying to take their money, because I truly believe in them, but I'll put a percentage on it. 80% chance of failure, 40% chance of failure, 90% chance of failure. And, I'm not God. I wouldn't say that to somebody because I wouldn't want to ruin somebody's dream
Yeah. It's
or
like
put,
that's not for me.
but you look at things, and when you do this long enough, you look at things and you say, I know the chance of failure here. And
Yeah.
it's either or bad or, what, or somewhere in between. I can give grades, basically I can grade this stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I've had that. I've had that a few times too, where people are like, oh, I got this idea for a new company idea, or hey, let's partner up and do this thing, or they just come to me like they just want advice because they're starting up a new business or they have an idea to sell something. And every time they come to me, it's like I immediately start out with a fuck. Here we go. Like here comes another one, and it's not because everyone's an idiot. It's just that for some reason the ideas that I hear just 9 times out of 10 are just fucking retarded. Because I'm not viewing it from a personal angle, which most of the time those 9 out of 10 are. It's like they see this product as something that they want, they like it, and they would buy it. Maybe their friends said the same thing, so therefore that's the extent of the research they've done on their demographic and said, "Hey, I want to start a business around it." And it's like, dude, what are you doing? I call that the Empanada Response. Down in Puerto Rico, there's these kiosks, and they're like little stores. They're not like kiosks in a mall. They're like little stores, like huts along the beach. There's, I want to say 40 of them in a row. I would say out of 40, 30 of them, all they do is sell the same three fucking foods. They're the exact same restaurant, just a different decor. And it's like, what the fuck? What are they doing? It's like, and then another business will close because they keep closing. None of them stay open. So then another one closes, then another one opens. Like, oh, I wonder what this one's going to turn into. And it opens up. It's an empanada shop. It's like, oh my god. It's like I can hear the conversations of the family. Oh my god, your empanadas are the best. You should open up a store. You would have the best empanada sales ever. I'm going to do it. And then all the family invests in this chick's empanada store, and it goes up. And they're like, oh, they're so good because the friends and family come to support them in the beginning. And then they die because everyone's been going to Jose's empanadas 2 kiosks over because he has the best empanadas because they're cheaper.
So that I mean, I had a couple of thoughts in your recent statements, and I think I only remember one of them. But one of actually, I think I remember two of them. One, the first thing I'd like to say is that Anybody who's starting a business, first and foremost, is what you have to realize is you are not your customer, and your family's not your customer. And if you don't do proper product research, and you have your family, they're either blowing smoke up your ass, or their their opinions are skewed because they know you, they're your family. You don't have the best of everything. You don't make the best food. You don't make the best product. And if you even want to think about trying to sell a product, you need to determine who your audience is and what they want to buy, not what you want to sell or what you think you want to buy. It's what the masses want, because you can't
Yep.
sell to two people. You need to sell to 2 million people.
And that's been one of my hardest problems because, like, every time I think of something, like, not really service oriented, but product wise, like, oh, this would be awesome. Even something dumb as a t shirt. My personal preferences are so vastly different than the majority of people. So things that I think are funny, most people won't. Things that I think are fun or cool looking, most people think they're horrible. So it's like, but I know that my opinions are outlandish. So that's why if I'm like, oh, this is awesome, I'd love to have this, but commercially done, it's like, well, it's just never going to happen because me and like three other people would buy this stupid thing.
I have a client, smart people, very smart people, and I'm on the phone with them one day, and they're telling me, I need to, I want to try to go for these particular type of keywords in, like, for my communities. This is paid advertising. And so we're talking about it, talking about it, talking about it. And, what do you want to go for? And I want to go for this. I want to use this term. So I turn around to them on the conference call, and I say, you know, listen, the keyword that you're trying to sell right now, is that to blow smoke up your own ass? Or is it to, is it for what you think the people that are actually going to be searching you are really looking for in this world? Because if you're trying to build your own ego up by slightly tilting what you're trying to sell, you're not selling to anybody, because nobody's searching what you want your things to be called. So you want your thing to be called this, but it's really this, but you want to advertise it as this because you want it to look good when people see it. But the thing is, they're not searching for that. So what are you wasting your money on? It's a moot point. It's a waste of money.
Yep, absolutely. Dude, there was this, and that just happened to me. I'm trying to pull it up now. So, this client of mine, they did a deal with this other company. Um, I don't think I can say their name because of the NDAs I have. But anyway, that's not going. So, well, anyway, they said like they these guys make a thing that Listerine has them, and you pop it open, it's got a little, you snap it shut and whatever. So they make that, but they make them for like B12 and for other things. I think they're I don't know, a caffeine
Gotcha.
one, and all that kind of stuff, right? Those little mouth strip things. So they approached my client and to work out a deal where they wanted to make THC mouth strips and CBD mouth strips, and their logo and their slogan was really bad. Let's just say that, like, really, really bad. And they asked me, my client asked me to develop the branding and the packaging around the new brand that we were to create that had THC and CBD in it. So I made a whole new thing called Party Flavors. I was supposed to make it look like it's not, and we call them Party Flavors THC breath strips. And we had different ones, sativa ones, indica, whatever, based on what your plan was. But we didn't want to sell it as look, it's a breath strip, keep it in your purse or your pocket. We wanted to make it
Yeah.
you bring them to the club and whatever. So we want to make it more of an outgoing experience. So I came up with this thing. We made a little packaging, sent it around the company. Everyone liked it. We tested it. It tested well. And then they had the contract with the people that makes these things, right? And the I keep wanting to say their name, the original mouth strip people that we're talking about here. They're like, oh no, you can't call them breath strips because we're not the Listerine breath strips. I'm like, breath strips isn't copyrighted. You can call them breath strips. It's a descriptive term of the product you're selling. And by law, for the regulatory requirements from THC products in California, you have to put that on there. You have to say what it is, in very blunt terms. Blunt. Um, so, and they're like, no, it needs to be called. you can call them party flavors, but you're underneath it. You need to call it I'm making it up now, but it's something like a biodissolvable thin adhesive layer. I mean, it was just like this long, drawn out technical term about a delivery system. The delivery system was in it. And they're like, no, you have to use this because that's what it is. It's not a breast strip. I'm like, I'm not putting that on the fucking box. Like, there's no fucking way. You walk up to anyone out here and say, just remember this. And then see if they can Google that and find your product. It's never going to happen. Like, call it what it is, man. And it wound up getting up such a heated battle. It went all the way to the CEOs of both companies. And then it came back down to, okay, put the long, stupid name on it. And I'm like, okay, you're my client. My job is to give you the best advice possible. You there then to action on because what if they have some backroom deal I don't even know about and that would fuck it all up? You know what I mean? So they probably know a lot more information than what I have. But it was a horrible decision and it's going to cost them in the end.
A lot of business owners are, they're generally high, high ego people. A lot of business owners, especially bigger businesses, their egos are, or CEOs, like, because then you started to get into like bigger business. That means they're CEOs, which generally are almost elected titles for the most part, or something that you get promoted into, or whatever that is. So they want to stroke their own ego, and what they realize is that they can stroke their ego all they want, but at the end of the day, that ego isn't getting them anywhere because they're not selling to themselves. They're selling to the masses. That's what you have to do. You have to sell to the masses out there.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I remember, I was I think I was in college or something, and my dad, my dad's also an entrepreneur. He started his own business. My dad's dad was an entrepreneur. He ran his own businesses. Just like, it's one of those things I'm about to say. It's in the blood, but it's not in the blood. It's just we're learned. Like, I saw my dad, not too much growing up, but I mean, he ran his own business. So for me, that was normal. And then he would always talk to me about business. Like, hey, when we start a company, you want to make sure, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I'm 7. I don't give a fuck, whatever. But like, he was just always talking about stuff like that to me. So therefore it was always in my head. But one thing he told me, I remember, I tell people this all the time, even though I've never done it myself, is making $1 million is really easy. All you have to do is make a $1 product and sell it 1 million times.
1 million times, that's right.
There are 7 billion people on this planet. You only have to sell it to 0.0001% of the world population to make $1 million.
But
and now that we have the internet, it's all open to everybody.
Yeah, problem with that is that I don't know if it's changed in the recent times. I guess when we were younger, everybody wanted to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
And nowadays being a millionaire is nothing.
Oh yeah, who gives a shit?
And I don't mean that in a condescending way. What I mean by that
it doesn't get you as far as you expected it to.
If you made $5 million and you could get decent interest in the bank, it's still a $250,000 a year job. Mm-hmm. So if you think you want to make more money than that, then you've got to be socking away some big ass money.
Yep.
Or you do things like me, and whenever you get a little extra money, you invest it into something that's going to make extra money over time.
Yep.
Real estate, certain businesses, things like that.
Yep. Invest in assets. Don't buy liabilities.
I'm me. I'm a strong believer in real estate. That's definitely an appreciating value over time, and if you know how to do it properly, you could actually always make money to make even more money. So you can not only appreciate your asset, but actually pay for it and earn an income, while paying it off.
Yep, exactly. So, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say now. Okay. I think that's probably good.
I'll add one more thing in, just as the
What?
three people who are going to watch this.
Yes.
No, I'm saying, like, for the three people, talking about, starting up and doing
Oh.
things or whatever. Um, it's basically another thing that I've noticed, because I see it way too often, is that a lot of people come, they don't have, they're starting up a business. They don't, they don't even know what they want to spend, which is a problem, because you need to know what you're willing to spend on something.
Hmm.
But then what they want to do is they want to go get as much as they possibly can for the least amount of money. And the problem is that the people who are selling you services at the least amount of money are very good at selling you those services at the least amount of money. But they're the people who are not going to give you the correct service, or they might give you what you pay for, or generally not speaking, you don't get what you pay for. And then after that, you have nobody that stands behind their.
Did you go on mute? I can't hear you.
No, no.
Oh, weird. Yeah. Okay.
And to repeat that, the people that are selling you the cheap products, they're not standing behind their products most of the time. How can they? How could you undercut everybody in this world and continue to run a business when you have overhead? It's just
Hmm.
physically impossible. So, what a lot of my clients come to me and they want me to build them this, build them that, build them the next thing. I give them a price. Let's say it's $4,000, and they're like, "Oh, I can get that done. Uncle Charlie can do it for like $2,000." And I tell them just like this. I say with all due respect, I said, I think that you should go have Uncle Charlie do it. But do me a favor, don't forget my number, because a lot of prospective clients come here, they see my price, and then they want to go and let Uncle Charlie do it. And so I'm quoting you $4,000 in 3 months, and Uncle Charlie, you're going to give the job to him. It's going to be $2,000. It'll be a year from now. It won't get done, and then you're going to come back to me, and our price isn't getting any cheaper. I've got fixed costs here. It's not like I just make up these numbers out of my head. So now you're a year and change into a project. It's cost you 150% of what what I originally quoted you, 300% of what you wanted to spend, and you're going to get the same product, but now you're going to get it by a reputable company that's going to support and take care of their product.
Yep.
And that's a big pitfall for starting up businesses. They try to pinch every penny, which I understand. You need to do right by your dollars and cents, but doing too right is not good. If you get a gamut of prices for anything, you should always get multiple prices, and and it's like percentages. If a lot of the prices are grouped like here, and a couple of them are over here, and a couple of them are over here, then generally speaking, these are the ones you want to play with.
Yeah.
The too high can go shove off. The too low, there's something going on there.
Yeah. Basically, you got to figure out, is whatever you're trying to buy a commodity or not. If it's not, then okay, now is it a skilled service or labor? And if it is, well, now obviously the price is going to have a direct impact on the quality that you get. Obviously, some people are going to be way overpriced, but that's what reviews and portfolios and things like that are for. So you can actually see what these people do and what they can deliver on. But yeah, so I think definitely being wary of where you spend your money when you start is good, but don't be cheap on the shit that's going to make you money. And like on a website sense, that's going to be the face of your company. So if it looks like garbage, someone's going to you could this happens to me all the time. I'm flying somewhere and I'm sitting next to some guy. We start bullshitting about something. And he's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, we could probably use your services or something. Or I know a guy or whatever. Can I get your card? Sure, no problem. Here you go." He takes my card or my email or whatever. And then when he gets home or lands, they Google me. And they go to science.com and they look at the website. Now, they're going to be like, if I just had some GeoPages thing or 404 not found or, just something that looked horrible or a big fucking virus gets downloaded to my phone and I'm an IT company, that's going to be horrible. It's going to look like these dudes are a fucking joke. I'm not even going to bother wasting my time. I could have an awesome pitch on the plane, but as soon as they look at my website, they're going to judge it. It's just think of it like this. I think this is probably a good idea too. Anything that you're going to make customer facing, especially, websites or whatever, I think everyone needs to take into the same consideration that they do as they would for a business card. Because people take business cards as personal. It's like, oh, the company, they see it as its own thing. But a business card is like, oh, no, this is me. I'm handing me to somebody. So whenever they're designing their business cards, they go fucking crazy and they spend way more. Dude, I spent, I think, almost $1 per card for my last order of business cards. Like, people spend ridiculous amounts of money on business cards because it's so self-representations, self-representageous of themselves.
Self-representative.
Thank you. So most people get that. So just take that and extrapolate it. Anything else that represents your company, you should put that much effort and care about what the fuck you're doing into it. Your websites, the name of your company, even your phone number. Like I start doing now, I go through, is it Fire Call? I forget the service, but I now register a toll-free number for every company with a number that's tied to my company as well. So like my weed companies have 420 in them. You know, my companies have my name, Adam, in them. So this way, when I hand it out to people, it's like, it's another one of those things. Oh, that's cool, but it sticks in their head and they remember it.
It's and I think that to touch upon two different aspects of what you just said. The first aspect that I'll touch upon is, you talk about a business card, you talk about a website. Just think about when you leave your house. If you, no matter what you do, if you were to leave your house with a greasy, dirty, stained shirt, and you try to give your business card to people, what do you think they're going to think about you? It's still representing yourself,
Yep.
As who you are. And then as another way to look at it, one of my wife's biggest pet peeves, and she does this all the time, and it's amazing how often this happens. You go to a restaurant, you go to a website, but it's more like restaurants going out to eat or whatever, and you look at the menu and the shit's spelled wrong, or there's improper punctuation, or it just looks stupid. And then this is something that people are seeing all day, every day. It's your menu. You'd think you could have gotten somebody to proofread it, or you see the guy who these beautiful menus and then puts white out on them to change the price.
Or it's like, you know what, dude? It's like as soon as you notice that problem, I get it. Shit happens. Sometimes makes it all the way to print with errors. It's happened to me. Shit just happens. But as soon as you notice it, you pull that shit and put the right stuff in, no matter what it costs you, because you're going to look like an asshole every time someone opens up their menu, and especially if the title of the restaurant's wrong. It's like, that's even worse, I guarantee it's happened.
There is spelling error. You wouldn't believe, I would say over 50% of the places that we would go to eat would have incorrect problems with their spelling, grammar, whatever. And the funniest thing is that there are plenty of regular places that I go to that we've explained it. We've told the owners of these companies that this is like this, and they've gone back multiple times to see the changes not fixed. And then you say to yourself, this is what the people.
Yeah.
You're
if
a
they
restaurant.
don't care, what do you think they care about the cleanliness of their kitchen?
It's amazing. This is you this is the first thing people see when they sit down to eat food at your restaurant. It's your menu, and that's a representation of the place as a whole. And you can't even it's bad enough when we find the errors. It's even worse when you find the errors, you tell the owner, and you go back there, and the errors are still there the 15th time. I mean, thankfully, these are places that I go, and I know these people. But
what's crazy though is the people that have the cheaper the restaurant, the more the menu is fixed. Like the super cheap restaurants is like giant laminated paper, like that thick fucking lamination. You know what I mean? The kind where you can't even bend it. That's like the cheapest, shittiest ones. Then you get to like the Denny's one where it's that floppy laminated thing. And then you get to like nicer restaurants, but it's like, oh, they printed out nice menus, or maybe they're printed on plastic on cardboard or something, or whatever. But dude, the high-end restaurants, like the really nice, good ones that we try to go to as much as possible, dude, they print their menus out every day.
Every day.
Sometimes twice. Like if they do a lunch and a dinner, then it's a different one for lunch and a different one for dinner for day. It's like they just have nice, leather bound like menu things, and they just pin in their menus. Or, dude, how about
four corners, right? It's like
there's a place right here, Lost and Found, great food, and I think it was there. The menu is like it's a piece of wood, and the menu is held on with 2 rubber bands.
Exactly. There you go.
But you know what? The food's amazing, and honestly, when you pick up those menus, you know it's like, ooh, This is the menu for today. Ooh, fancy.
It's like the same saying. It's not there, but it's basically similar to penny wise, dollar foolish.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's like I keep going back and forth. So I keep saying, like, unfortunately, what you look like can play a determining factor on the services that you offer, which growing up more in my younger years I thought was bullshit. So I'm like, dude, it's like, fuck it, I'm tattooed or I look weird and I don't wear a suit. It's like, fuck that, I'm better than everyone else that doesn't have tattoos and does wear suits. Who gives a shit? And that was my big fuck everybody thing. But now I see it as a different way. It's kind of like that whole thing where I talk about if reframing a negative. So the negative was, okay, people are always judging me based on my looks, or they're judging my business based on the appearance of the website, or they're judging, whatever. Everyone judges on appearance of something. So I reframed it, and I'm like, okay, how can this make sense? So I started thinking about, with my studies of NLP and stuff like that from the subconscious mind. Well, what I see is happening, and now how I view it when I view things like a fucked up menu or something like that, is this is how much they care about their own company. And as a business owner, nobody cares about your company more than you. Not even close. Nobody. So
Yes.
if that person doesn't give a shit that much to invest more time or money or effort into that thing that I'm seeing right now, what makes me think that they're going to give any more effort than to the thing that I'm purchasing from them?
Yes.
So it's like, if I see a really shitty website for a nutrient company, I'm going to think, these guys they're fucking garbage. They don't give a shit. It's going to be just a bunch of water and, fucking just like everything else out there. It's like, but spin it around and it's a pure marketing game. And that's how you have pretty much everything that's going on sale on Instagram right now. It's like some product that looks neat. They'll show like a little 60-second video of some product being used, and then buy now. And it's like, oh, it's only $20, normally $100. Well, dude, all they're doing is they're going on like Alibaba, finding some product where it's a couple pictures of it, they can get them for $5. They buy a couple thousand of them. They get them here. They make a 60-second video of how awesome this thing is and throw some fireworks and dragons spinning across it. And then they make a website saying, buy now, limited quantity for $20. And dude, they're making $15 a pop just because they made a 60-second video and bought some Instagram ads. So because they make a really dumb thing look awesome, they're making fucking bank. And everyone's like, you can even read the comments. It's like, oh, I bought it. It's pretty cheap. It's not going to last that long, whatever. Do you think they care? Fuck no. They're not the business of that thing. They're in the business of making.
It's a quick buck. It's basically like, knock these out. Make my points on them. Go to the next thing. Actually, the reality of it is that they'll buy 10,000 at 5, hope to sell 5,000 of them at 20,
and then
offload the other ones. They don't really care.
And
if you do that math right there, they still made money. They doubled their money if they sold half of them at 4 times the price.
But just like everything else, there's always a bell curve for this stuff. And a lot of these dumb fucking things are just fad products, where it's like, oh, it's neat now. And the biggest one ever, I would say, what would you say it is? I'm going to tell you what mine is.
Fad product?
Yeah, where like it was, you saw them fucking first it was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Everyone thought, oh, that's kind of neat. Yes, exactly. Then they just fucking exploded everywhere. Everywhere. You couldn't walk anywhere and not see a fidget spinner. And then everyone realized, these things are fucking stupid. I bought one for my kid. It was neat. It broke. I'm not buying another one. So now what happened was you get these people like, I bought this dumb thing from China and it's taken off. And then they're like, sweet. Everyone else saw it and they started picking up on it too. And then it was, I only sold half. I don't give a fuck. I only sold a quarter. It's like, okay, I made a couple bucks. Then it's down here, which is, I just bought a container of fidget spinners and I can't move them.
First on the boat, man. First on the boat.
Yep. And so many people chasing.
And that boat, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, don't chase falling knives.
and that boat takes, 3 months to get across the ocean. So you have to remember that too.
Yep. Well, dude, like mining cards, right? People were buying mining shit, but by the time they could actually get it into their hands, it was already outdated.
2 months later, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, the guy that sold it to you didn't care.
Yeah. Oh, fuck no. Sell them all day long.
So there's a lot of little intricacies in businesses. Like this is like this we went from like kind of startup to like intricacies of like certain things that we know, and we spanned a big array of things, and that's just like those are like even like super big, like big chunky subjects that there's so many smaller subjects that I mean, first of all, you couldn't teach everybody all this stuff, and really the only way
Yeah,
to learn it is to experience it.
yeah. You got to go. You have to go through and get your. You have to earn your lumps. Literally, you need to
Yes, you
fail
do.
miserably, fat on your face, knocked out cold, fail,
And then get up and do it again.
and love it. It's true. You got to be like, well, fuck yeah, that didn't work. I lost 10 grand. Next.
Exactly. Exactly.
But dude, this next one, I'm telling you, my Xbox idea, it's gonna be fucking awesome.
I can't wait. Or
I know.
we'll devil's advocate the next one.
Yeah, and there will be probably next week. Okay, I'm gonna take off, man. Later.
Talk to you later.
Later, man.